So take a moment out of the dumpster fire that is US politics for one moment to hear about another one, Brexit. The UK has just over 2 months before it's due to leave the EU, and there's no clear idea what that might look like. Everything from its immigration policy to its safety regulations to its labor laws have been formed by its membership of the EU. Both Britain and the EU want to make a deal for what the exit looks like and what the new relationship would be. But what would happen if the UK left the European Union without a deal in place? There are about 800,000 British citizens who live in the EU who could wake up on March 30th and find that they've lost the right to work where they live. That even includes your favorite footballers. 1 million people could lose their jobs, and Northern Ireland could face rolling blackouts, according to some reports. This prospect is called a no-deal Brexit and is described by many as Britain essentially crashing out of the European Union. Crashing out means no regulations or rules in place to govern how everything from trade to citizenship status to border security is affected. It could lead to food shortages, medicine shortages. It would affect air and ground travel, immigration, and more. Now, the formal deadline that the UK faces is March 29th, 2019. And the main proposal so far has been historically and overwhelmingly defeated in Parliament. The UK invoked Article 50 almost 2 years ago on March 29, 2017. Article 50 is basically the breakup article in the Treaty of the European Union. It's what a country invokes when they're ready to withdraw. And though it's written into the treaty, no country has actually attempted this before, which is one reason why Brexit is so unprecedented and so complicated. Like I said, dumpster fire. The treaty says once you invoke Article 50, you have 2 years to negotiate the terms of your exit. So here we are, looking at March 29th. It's like the UK and the US are competing to see which government can be more dysfunctional right now. If you think that the longest shutdown of the federal government in US history is bad, and it objectively is, given how it's impacted air travel, critical health services, and 800,000 workers here going multiple weeks without a paycheck, a no-deal Brexit would be equally as bad, if not worse. Here are some of the ways it would affect the everyday person's life, including those who don't even live in the UK. The UK currently gets a lot of its food and medicine from other countries in the European Union. Because they're all part of the same union, the trucks that physically bring in these items aren't required to go through extensive customs checks when they reach the UK border. But if Britain exits on March 29th, that would change and involve a lot more paperwork. That could mean delays of deliveries, which would lead to shortages. Now, the UK government has been working on a contingency plan that involves pharmaceutical companies stockpiling certain life-saving medicines like insulin. That would last 6 weeks. But 6 weeks can go by quickly. And not every company feels prepared for a no-deal Brexit, since until very recently, it seemed like a lesser reality. Here's how the New York Times put it. British legislators were so alarmed by the prospect of a no-deal exit that they supported an amendment to stop contingency planning for crashing out, because they wanted to make it more difficult to leave without an agreement. Only the most hard-line conservative MPs seem to want a no-deal exit, and yet that's one path ahead of the UK. Okay, so trucks can't get in at the border. What about flying supplies in? Airlines have the right to travel between the UK and the EU under current European Union rules. So with a no-deal Brexit, aircraft could theoretically be grounded. This wouldn't just affect supplies. It could affect air travel, including work trips, vacations, or visiting family and friends. Again, there's a contingency plan for aircraft according to the EU, but we don't know in practice what that looks like. It would be strengthened by the UK actually reaching a deal or postponing Brexit. Leaked government documents revealed warnings that Northern Ireland could face rolling blackouts in a no-deal Brexit. Here's what the briefing said. Without a deal, there are significant price and security of supply risks for Northern Ireland, including blackouts, up to 34% increase in electricity bills, and probably the need for heavy government intervention. Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland currently use one single electricity market, which means power is easily traded across the border. Northern Ireland wouldn't be able to legally draw from that joint market without a deal. So again, people could wake up on March 30th and not have electricity. Energy leaders say they'll figure something out, but as of fall 2018, government leaders from the UK hadn't even spoken to the people running energy generators in Northern Ireland. And other government leaks suggested that a flotilla of generators on barges could be sent over to Northern Ireland if no deal happened. One business leader called that an apocalyptic scenario. All of this chaos would, of course, affect the economy, which is why the global credit agency Standard & Poor's warned that no deal could lead the UK into a recession and cost 1 million people their jobs. They also estimated that each household would lose an average of £2,700 a year, which is almost $3,500 US. Crashing out would shrink the economy and cause prices of many goods and services to go up. So in all of the research for this is the pattern of what I found. All of the experts say that no-deal Brexit would be horribly disruptive to this industry or this aspect of people's daily lives. But then others, mostly government folks, say there might be a contingency plan that could help. Except it's been 2 years since the original referendum, and the government hasn't managed to work a deal out yet. So can people really trust that all of this won't happen? The closer that March 29th gets, the more likely it all becomes.